श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे, श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे, श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे, श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे, श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे। उन्मत्त नटन ताण्डवं मत्ते भवदन भासुरं चित्ताब्ज बोध भास्करम् आयत्त योगराजितं विद्वेष नित्यपूजितं उत्तानपाणिमुद्रितं श्रीकृत्तिवास सत्सुतं कैलासदृशदिनर्तनं भक्तान्तरङ्गवर्तनं पापौघपाशकर्तनं श्रीपार्वतीसुतं भजे। श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे, श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे, श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे, श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे। लम्बोदराङ्गताण्डवं मुद्राकराब्जपण्डितं सर्वाङ्गनागमण्डनं वन्दे विनायकं पतिम्। धिं धिम्मितकिटमर्दलं भं भं निनादशङ्खकम् आनन्दनृत्यतत्परं ध्यायामि प्रमथनायकम्। आमोदकरमोदकं वेदान्तमतिमादकं दुष्कर्मफलसाधकं विघ्नेश्वरं गुरुं भजे। श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे, श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे, श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे, श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे। सृष्टिस्थितिलयकारणं मोक्षाख्यदैत्यमारणं संसारजलधितारणं स्तौमि प्रभो नरवारणं। पञ्चास्यमादिदैवतं देवऋषिभिः समर्चितम् आलोकगलितसञ्चितं विघ्नाधिनाथमाश्रये। श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे, श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे, श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे, श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे। लोकैकपरमवैभवं लोकेश्वरादिसम्भवम् आलोकपरिहृतोद्भवम् आलोकये परं भवम्। श्रीकृष्णकविनिवेदितैः श्लोकाख्यमोदकैरिमैः आनन्दगणपतिं पतिम् आराधयन्तु साधकाः। श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे, 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 श्री दत्त गणपतिं भजे।
ब्रह्मसमारम्भां श्री दत्तात्रेयमध्यमां श्री दत्त स्वामी पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। सर्वविश्वन्यस्तपादपद्मायते वामहस्तालोलवेदशास्त्रायते ज्ञानसूर्यायते दत्तरूपायते श्रीवेणुगोपाल कृष्णाय वन्दनम्। श्रीवेणुगोपाल कृष्णाय वन्दनम्। श्रीवेणुगोपाल कृष्णाय वन्दनम्। Gurudatta, Shri Datta, Prabhudatta, Pahima, Vididatta, Haridatta, Haradatta, Rakshamam, Pahimam Datta, Rakshamam Datta. Swami, Namaskaram, Swami. Namaste.
Namaskaram, sir.
Father, Namaskaram, Swamiji.
Namaste.
With salutations at the lotus feet of Shri Datta Swami, let us begin the satsang. We will be continuing with Shri Radha Krishna Gita. We are going through chapter 9 of Shri Radha Krishna Gita. It is Sankalpa Phala Vichara Yoga, the association of the inquiry about intention and fruit. I offer this dedication at the lotus feet of Swamiji. From you alone is all knowledge sublime, and everything that's great and fine. All the ignorance and error are but mine, for I am just a soul, and you the goal divine. Trusting your compassion benign, my errant service I yet consign to those holy lotus feet of thine, Shri Datta Swami, my Sadguru trine. So last time we had started the 9th chapter and we had gone through the first 15 verses and stopped at this point. Before we move ahead, I will just recap some of the main points that we covered last time. The chapter began with the question of how illusion can uplift souls, especially the fact that the illusion is seen to uplift souls in one place, and another type of illusion actually harms devotees. So Shri Radha poses this question to Lord Krishna, and she says that these gopikas who are dancing with Krishna, they are not dancing actually with Krishna, but they are dancing with illusory forms of Krishna, illusory duplicates of Krishna, in whom God is not present. So it was an illusion created by Krishna for the gopikas, and that illusion uplifts them. That is one case. And the opposite case is the people of the world who think that the real Krishna in whom God is present, the real incarnation, Lord Krishna, is only an ordinary human being. The gopikas feel that the duplicate Krishnas are the real Krishna, and the general public feels that the real Krishna is only an ordinary human being. These are opposite illusions that these two groups of people have, the gopikas on one side and the general public on the other side. Now we know for sure that people in the world who disregard the human incarnation of God, the contemporary human incarnation of God in their generation, they end up with loss. This is told by Lord Krishna in the 9th chapter of the Gita. We are studying the 9th chapter of the Radha Krishna Gita. And in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, verse 11, Lord Krishna says, Avajananti mam modha manushim tanumashritam. So that is the condition of the public. The public thinks that this Krishna is only son of Devaki and Vasudeva. He is only the son of Yashoda and Nanda. They do not realize that he is the Lord himself. Parambhava majananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. This is the condition of the public. What happens to this public? They end up in destruction. Because if they go against the Lord, as long as they are minding their own business, it is fine. Nothing bad will happen to them. As long as they are following dharma, as long as they are following justice, nothing bad will happen to them. But if they go against God, if they work against him, if they try to attack him, then definitely loss is going to come to them. A permanent loss will come to them. So the illusion in the case of the public, whereby they think that the real incarnation Krishna is only a human being Krishna, if that leads them to loss, how come an illusion leads to the upliftment, the spiritual salvation of the Gopikas? This is the question of Radha. And that question is related to a broader question, which is, how can an illusion ever be beneficial? Generally, we think illusion is a form of ignorance and nothing good comes out of it. The truth is light. The truth guides you. The truth uplifts you. Illusion and ignorance, what do? They merely cheat you. They trick you. So nothing good can come out of an illusion. How is Krishna saying that the Gopikas are going to attain salvation because of this illusion? So that is the question of Radha. And then Lord Krishna goes on to explain how that illusion of the Gopikas is a different illusion, and it is a beneficial illusion. It is not so that that illusion always leads to loss. Illusion does not always lead to loss and harm. In fact, in some cases, the truth can lead to loss and harm. And he gave the example, Swami gave the example of the sage who was known for his truthfulness. And he told the truth about the location of a saint to robbers, and the robbers killed that saint. As a result, this sage who spoke the truth had to go to hell. So it is not so that the truth is always good and that falsity or illusion is always bad. It is the intention behind both that matters. And in the case of Lord Krishna, his intention is the highest, because the highest souls in this creation are the Gopikas, who were sages of the past births. To give salvation, to give the permanent, ultimate divine fruit to the ultimate souls of this creation is the ultimate good. How can it be bad? And in order to grant that fruit to the sages, he had to create an illusion. You may ask, why did he have to create an illusion? Answer is simple, because he is the Askhalita Brahmachari. He is the eternal celibate. His celibacy is not to be spoiled, and yet salvation is to be granted to the Gopikas, who are females and who have to be relieved from all three worldly bonds, including the bond with the husband. And so this Rasa Krida is a divine play that has been orchestrated by God. And in that he has created his illusory forms. So the illusion was necessary to rid them of their worldly bonds, grant them salvation, and at the same time maintain his celibacy. So it was a beneficial illusion of the highest kind. One cannot imagine of a more beneficial illusion. And so there is no question of any defect or any blame coming upon Krishna as a result of that illusion, as a result of creating that illusion and dancing with the Gopikas, which he did not dance. It is his illusory forms who danced. So finally he says that he does not have any romantic feelings for the Gopikas or any souls in creation. Does it mean that he is limited and he is incapable of having romantic feelings, and therefore that kind of is a black spot on his perfection, on his perfect character? No, he is capable of romantic feelings, being the omniscient and omnipotent God, but he reserves those feelings of romance only for the divine goddess Anagha, and her incarnations, including Radha. And Radha also happens to be an incarnation of Lord Shiva. So because of the internal monism between Radha and Krishna, both are internally the same God. The external expression of romance between them does not spoil the celibacy of God. So this is where we ended last time, and from here we will continue. Now, In the 16th verse, we see Shri Radha Devi asking a question again. Shri Radha Devi uvacha pruchhami tvam punah prashnam tameva muralidhara kuto na stri sama bhaktaah pumsamso dushpravruttayah. Shri Radha Devi spoke, O singer on the flute, I am raising the same old question once again here. My question is, why are the male devotees having the same bad quality of lust belonging to the category of dushpravrutti not being blessed by you on par with the female devotees? So the question is, lustful feelings and lustful actions towards someone who is not your married spouse is dushpravrutti. Dushpravrutti means unjust worldly behavior, behavior in the world which crosses the boundary of God-given justice. If you have lustful feelings and if you do lustful actions with your own married husband or with your own married wife, that is not a problem because that is within the boundaries of God-given justice. It becomes the life of pravrutti. But having lustful relations with someone other than your married spouse is dushpravrutti behavior. It is the behavior of injustice. Now, if God has given an opportunity for female devotees having that dushpravrutti tendency, to overcome that dushpravrutti tendency, get restored to the level of pravrutti, and then ultimately attain salvation by progressing from pravrutti to nivrutti, if he has given that opportunity to female devotees, why not give a similar opportunity to male devotees? How did he give an opportunity to the female devotees? They can simply redirect their lust, they can redirect their illegitimate lust towards God instead of some human boyfriend. If they are interested in a man who is other than their husband, that is the dushpravrutti tendency, instead of choosing a boyfriend who is some other human being, they can choose God to be their lover, God to be their boyfriend. So they are redirecting their lustful tendency towards God. And when they get associated with him, in his association, over time, they will learn about two things. They will learn about his extraordinary character, consisting of all the divine excellent qualities. And among them, they will specifically note that he is committed to justice. He does not like the violation of justice. As a result, gradually, they will end their dushpravrutti behavior. They will end their illegitimate lustful behavior. And they will remain satisfied with pravrutti, that is, lustful behavior with their married spouse alone. That is the middle stage. But by then, they have already developed such strong love towards God that they will continue that pursuit of God, or they would continue working to get closer to God. And then they would cross pravrutti and attain salvation, which is the path of nivrutti. This wonderful path has been given for female devotees. Then why not males? Should he not encourage the males having lustful qualities to redirect their lustful qualities towards himself and somehow uplift even the male devotees from dushpravrutti to pravrutti and then allow them to rise higher to nivrutti? That is the question. So Lord Krishna answers now. Shri Krishna Bhagavan Uvacha Stri Pumsorbheda Ekoyam tamah pumsam rajoyutam strinamekam tamah prayah siddhanto bahujivagah. God Shri Krishna spoke. The main difference between male and female souls is that in the case of males, the lust indicated by the quality of tamas is always associated with ego, which is indicated by the quality of rajas. In female souls, only the tamas exists and not the rajas, which means that females may have lust, but not the masculine ego. Of course, there may be very few exceptions to this concept, but the policy is always based on the majority of souls, neglecting the minor exceptions. So what Lord Krishna points out here is the difference between the mental makeup of men and women. The lustful tendency is common to both men and women, but the nature of that lustful tendency is somewhat different, because in the case of men, the lust is accompanied by ego. In women, the lust is not accompanied by ego. So the kama or lust is a manifestation among the three primary qualities. It is the manifestation of tamas. We have sattva, rajas, and tamas. Three fundamental qualities. Sattva is related to purity, knowledge. Rajas is related to activity, action. Tamas is related to ignorance and inertia. So the lustful tendency actually belongs to tamas. Lust is an offshoot of tamas, and ego is an offshoot of rajas. If you see the diagram, you find that in males, the dark blue represents tamas. Tamas is that quality of ignorance and inertia. Lust belongs to that. So there is lust, but it is accompanied by this red circle, which represents rajas. Rajas is ego. So you have lust as well as ego. That is the combination you find in men. And in women, that ego is not so predominant. Lust exists, but ego doesn't exist. And that is why the way to deal with them is different. Now, you may say that I have seen so many women who have so much ego. Not even a man will have so much ego. So such ego is found in some women. Yes, there are exceptions, but that is not the rule. The majority of women have a limited ego, and even if you may think that they are exhibiting a lot of ego in some of their behavior, but that ego is a little bit more flexible than men. When the situation comes, they are able to suppress their ego and assume a more humble and an obedient, subservient position. Women are able to control that ego. Men are not able to do that. Beyond a point, you cannot press a man. The person might be very humble, but when a situation comes, you cannot suppress his ego beyond a point. At some point, he will just flare up and he will express that ego. That is the nature of how men and women are designed by God. And there's a good reason for that, because their functional roles are different. Their functional roles in society are different. The man is supposed to be the protector of the family. Don't consider what has happened in the past 50 years. Human civilization has been here for millions of years. And in those millions of years, men have been the protectors of the family. The women have been involved in raising children. Frequently, women are pregnant. Frequently, they are feeding their children. Frequently, they have a number of dependent children who are constantly with them. They cannot be the protectors. They cannot be the warriors. Yes, women warriors have been there. It is not that women cannot fight. Women can fight, but then who will take care of the children? That is the issue. The man might be ready to take care of the children, but who will feed milk to them? The man cannot feed milk to them. And so nature has given certain roles to men and women, which are somewhat different. The roles are definitely different. It doesn't mean one is less and one is more. This is, I feel that feminists should reconsider their position. Just because the roles are different doesn't mean that one is more important or less important. Both are equally important, but both are different. Both roles are different. It doesn't mean that women cannot, maybe be an astronaut. Of course, a woman can be an astronaut. Who says no? We have excellent women astronauts also. But the way God has designed is based on a very clear logic, and according to the roles given to men and women, He has also given them the body and the mind to be efficient at those roles. The man is on an average across all the different continents. Men are on an average stronger and larger and heavier than women. Exceptions are there. Some women might be very strong and taller and heavier than some other man, because there is always a distribution. There are some tall men, there are some short men, there are some tall women, there are some short women. So there is definitely a distribution, but on an average, the man is physically stronger, heavier, taller, and so on. And the woman is less so. But the woman has other benefits. For instance, the woman, immunologically, she might be tougher, and so on. Longevity-wise, women live longer. So God has not made any injustice. What He has done is perfect. So according to the roles, He has given a physical structure to men and women. Also, He has given a certain mental structure to men and women. And to men, He has given ego. That ego is necessary for worldly life. He has to protect his family. Sometimes there are threats that come on his family. So he has to protect the family. He has to protect the kingdom. He has to protect good people in society. And so that ego is required. Without that ego, he will not be efficient at protecting, at taking risks. So those qualities have been given to the man, not to the woman. The woman has the ability to subdue her ego. Every human being has some ego, but the woman can subdue her ego. She has that control over her ego. When she is not challenged, she can exhibit ego. But suppose the situation demands that she control her ego, she is able to do that. The man will not be able to do that. He will break, but he will not bend. Sometimes that is good, but sometimes that's a handicap, actually. So this is all relevant, and it is all very good in worldly life. We here are talking about spiritual life. In spiritual life, that ego is a big problem. That ego that the man has more than the woman, that ego, when exhibited in front of God, is a serious handicap. So the way to deal with that ego is a little complicated. In fact, nothing can be done beyond a certain point. All the spiritual preparation can be done by the man, the male person. The male can do all the spiritual preparation over many, many, many janmas, many births. and come to a point of final spiritual maturity. At that point, that ego becomes a handicap. He cannot attain salvation while still possessing that ego. So what God does is, at that point, the next birth given to that person, the final birth that is the birth of a female. In that, naturally, the ego gets controlled. Because the woman has been given a flexible ego or a limited ego, very small ego. Small ego, and whatever is there, it is flexible. She can subdue it. She can suppress it. So God is actually doing a great favor to that male person. The person might have had maybe 10 male births, during which he comfortably could study knowledge, he could perform a lot of sadhana, and he reached a level of final maturity. Then God gives a female birth. In that female birth, the ego doesn't exist. And so God can give final salvation to that person in that final birth. Now, in the male birth, that is not possible because the ego is still there. So these two qualities, lust and ego, when they are together, it becomes a lethal combination. It's a bad combination. In the women, there is only lust. That God can deal with. God can deal with that because he will direct that lust towards himself. And by his association, he will transform those women. He will turn them towards dharma, turn them towards nivrutti, towards spiritual life. That can be done because they don't have ego. It's very easy to bend them. It's easy to transform them when they don't have ego. With the man, it's not so possible. If the person has ego, he cannot bend them. He cannot transform them so easily. So God follows a certain technology to do that. And that will be explained in the upcoming verses. So what we note over here is that lust is a form of tamas. Ego is a form of rajas. Males have both rajas and tamas. They have lust and ego. Women only have tamas, that is lust. They don't have much ego. When I say don't have, it means that not in a big way. They may have some ego, but it is flexible, it is limited. So there is this basic difference between men and women. So Swami will now explain what he does because of this difference. Yavat purusha dehosti tavad dhatte rajah puman ato mokshat puro vashyam Srijanma rajasachyutam. As long as the male body exists, the male soul possesses the masculine ego, which is the result of the quality of rajas. Therefore, the soul present in a male body in the current birth must necessarily be reborn with a female body, which is naturally devoid of the male ego due to the absence of the quality of rajas, at least in a major quantity. Even if rajas exists in females, it is usually only in a minor quantity. So this is the same diagram as before, but we have shown over here that there is some rajas exists. We know that all three qualities always exist. In any component of this creation, sattvam, rajas and tamas always exist. No single quality can be found in isolation. That is a general rule. So, in terms of mental qualities, there cannot be pure sattvam. There cannot be pure rajas, pure tamas. There's always a mixture of all three. But we are talking about predominance over here. And in males, the proportion of rajas or ego is high. In the case of females, it is much lower. On an average. Like I said, on an average, men are stronger physically than women. Similarly, we are saying on an average. Vina kama gunam chayam स्त्रीजन्मनियतं व्रजेत मोक्षाय तदिहैवास्य तमो नश्यतु चैकदा. Therefore, the male soul must attain the female birth to destroy his ego, which is born of rajas, irrespective of the possession of lust, which is born of tamas. When there is such a strict condition, let the lust born of tamas and the ego born of rajas be destroyed in that last female birth, itself, in one shot. What Swami is saying is, rajas exists in the man, tamas also exists in the man. Now it is certain that the last birth before salvation is going to be a female birth. Now in that female birth, rajas is automatically removed because it is a female birth. You don't have to struggle so much to eliminate that ego while being a man. When you become a woman, automatically that ego is going to be reduced to a negligible level. And in that birth, God has already built a road to get rid of your lust. So rajas and tamas can both be eliminated, the final remaining rajas and tamas. It doesn't mean that in the previous births you don't have to work on it. Of course, there must be effort in the previous births. But the final removal is not going to take place when you are a man. But when you become a woman in the final birth, at that time, both the rajas and tamas are removed in one shot. In that one female birth, that last female birth, the rajas is automatically removed because you have become a female now. And then the tamas, that is the lust, kama, that will be removed through the path of Madhur Bhakti. So this is the technology that God has worked out. युगपद्वय संसिद्धौ मंदोपि न पृथक् चरेत् जीवाः सर्वे भवन्त्येव स्त्रियश्चरम जन्मसु. When the two fruits of overcoming lust and ego are attainable simultaneously, even a fool will not try to make separate efforts to attain the two fruits independently. Therefore, all souls are simply given female bodies in their last births. If they are not able to achieve salvation in one final birth, one final female birth, they are given a few female births to attain the necessary spiritual maturity in that last stage of their spiritual journey. So the technology or the path that has been designed by God is such that in the last birth, the ego and the lust will be eliminated because it is going to be a female birth. Effortlessly, those two will be eliminated. That is the plan of God. Now, when both can be removed in one shot, then why should the soul argue that no, let me remove the ego and the lust while I am a male? It is foolish. Or to say that let me eliminate my ego while I am a male, and then in the next birth when I become a female, let me eliminate the lust. Why to do the two separately? When in one shot you are in a position to eliminate both of them, two birds in one stone, when that is possible, only an idiot would try to kill the two birds using two different stones. So the moral of the story is, God has not been partial towards women. God has not been unfair towards men. He has been very fair. And this gender, we think, we think too much about gender, actually. Ultimately, there is a soul. That soul really basically has no gender. The gender is only for the body. You can be born, that soul can be born as a male or can be born as a female. Sometimes the soul will be born as a male, sometimes the soul will be born as a female. We should not bother so much about this gender, as there is a fundamental gender in the sense of God being the dominant male, only single dominant male, and everybody else, all souls, be they biologically male or female, they are all females before him. Females here not in a sexual sense, but in the sense of he being the dominant one and we being the submissive, subservient, obedient ones. So this is a fundamental gender difference. Other than that fundamental gender difference, no gender difference exists. It's a very superficial gender difference that exists between one man and one woman. So ultimately, in the final birth, we will become female. And when the last remaining ego and lust, they will be eliminated by God, by his divine plan. So we need not bother so much about it. Suppose you are not able to eliminate that ego and lust in the final female birth. It doesn't matter because you will be given 2 or 3 female births. Let's say you made good progress, but you were not able to succeed. Some students, they work very hard and they maybe they are not able to pass the exam in the first shot, but they are sincere. They have tried hard. They have studied hard. If God is convinced that you belong to that category, that you have worked hard, you have worked sincerely, he will grant another female birth. Maybe you will make some more progress in that. You don't succeed in that second female birth, it doesn't matter. The third female birth will be given. So until you finally overcome that lust as well as ego, until your devotion towards him becomes so strong that you are effortlessly able to overcome all your worldly bonds, the bond with your money, the bond with your child, and your bond with your spouse. Unless you are able to overcome them effortlessly. Effortlessly is important, naturally and effortlessly. Due to your extreme love for God, you are not getting salvation. So when you are the point at which you are able to overcome all of them effortlessly, due to your love for God, that instant you have salvation. You are a Jivan Mukta, because who is the bound soul? The soul who is bound by these worldly bonds is the bound soul. In the moment you can overcome them due to your extremely strong single bond with God, you have attained salvation instantly, there itself. You don't have to wait for death. There itself, then and there, you have salvation. You are a Jivan Mukta. And that Jivan Mukti continues in the upper world. That Jivan Mukta is the person who is liberated while being alive. If you are liberated while you are alive here on earth, there is no doubt that you will have liberation eternally. Even in the upper worlds, the same liberated state will continue. If you are reborn along with God to assist in his divine mission, there too you will be reborn as a liberated soul. So once you get liberation, it is a permanent liberation. So Lord Krishna reiterates that there is no injustice done to males over here. Anyayo na krita pumsam kriyaikadhyartha karyatah palane hidrisham karma saulabhyaya prakirtitam. Therefore, no injustice is done to males. There is no partial favor done to females compared to males. This policy of granting the final female birth to souls achieves 2 positive results in one stroke. In any administrative work, such policies are to be praised because they greatly simplify the implementation. So God is the greatest administrator, and a great administrator is an efficient administrator. Efficiency is seen when through one policy he is able to solve two problems. Suppose there is an administrator and he has to supply water to a village. It is his responsibility that in a certain village, in a certain town, water is to be supplied. And then he also has to maintain health of the people in that community. If he supplies river water, just raw river water, if he supplies it in the pipelines in people's houses, people will start dying of cholera and all waterborne diseases. Then in order to prevent the cholera, he has to have some other mechanism. Would that not be highly inefficient? If he is a good administrator, when he supplies water to people's houses, he will make sure that the water that is supplied is already purified. So in one stroke, he solves two problems. He has supplied water and he has also improved the health of the people. When people drink pure water, they will not fall ill. So that is an efficient administrator. If he has one scheme to supply water and another scheme to improve the health of people, then it is double work for him. It's not an efficient administrator. He's a stupid administrator. He doesn't know what he is doing. So God, being the ultimate administrator of this entire universe, he is also the most efficient administrator. And he has set up this policy whereby the last birth will be a female birth, so that the ego is automatically controlled. The lust can also easily be removed because he comes in a masculine incarnation. His incarnation is usually in a masculine form. Not that female incarnations are not possible. Female incarnations are also possible, but there are some advantages of he coming in a masculine form. Very frequently, he comes in a masculine form. Radha, we know, is a feminine incarnation. So the feminist in us need not worry that God is partial towards the male gender and he comes only as a male. No, he is talking to Radha. Radha is also an incarnation. So he comes in a feminine incarnation also. But here, in order to uplift the souls, he is coming in a masculine incarnation, and the souls are given a feminine birth where their ego is controlled automatically and their lust can be redirected towards him, whereby they get the chance to rise to pravritti and then to nivritti. This works very beautifully when he comes as a male and the devotees are female. That is why this mechanism is there. If he comes as a female and the devotees are male, they cannot control their rajas. They cannot control their ego. Not only can they not control their lust, they cannot control their ego also. In that birth, they are not getting salvation. In that birth, they will get some spiritual growth. They will definitely make some progress, because even the feminine incarnation will teach them lots of lessons. But liberation will not happen. The final liberation cannot be done in that birth. So God is the most efficient and genius administrator, and therefore he has set up this policy. Okay, time is fine. We still have few minutes. Sarve jivas striya iti vede proktam sati pade etad gunaparam grahyam na sharira ratadishu. In the Veda, it is told that all souls are females and also the wives of God. Striyas satihi tan ume pumsa ahuhu. This is told in the Rigveda 1.164.16. This statement should not be taken in the sense of the sexual activity that takes place between a man and his wife. It is to be taken in the sense of the behavior of souls in the presence of God. Now, what does this mean? I told you that traditionally, for the past thousands and lakhs and probably millions of years, the male has always been the dominant, the dominant member in any couple. The woman has generally always been submissive and nurturing. She has been that is the traditional role. You may say it is a stereotype, but it has biological roots. It has roots in the way God has structured society. God has structured society in that way that the male is the dominant person, the aggressive person, the stronger person, and the woman is the nurturing person. She raises children. She is emotionally more sensitive. She knows when to keep quiet and when to be submissive also to the husband. So these traditional roles have been given. They are traditional. They also have a biological origin, and they are, in general, they are beneficial for the family as well as society, as well as the spiritual effort, actually. So the feminist in us need not revolt against these traditional roles that are given to men and women. Looking at it from this traditional mindset, where the male is the dominant and dominant member and the female is the submissive member, we find that similar kind of relationship between God and souls. God is the dominant and souls are submissive towards him. They are dependent on him. So another very important characteristic in the traditional roles is that the woman is dependent. She is not independent because she has to take care of the children. And if she is always taking care of the children, if she has one child who is still breastfeeding, another child which is like 2 years old, another child which is like 5 years old, another child which is like 7 years old, she has to take care of all of them. How can she earn her own food? How can she, maybe go out in the forest and fight with wild animals and and also get some food for herself? She cannot do that. She has her hands full, literally. So the man has to do that. So she is dependent on the man feeding her, taking care of her, protecting her. That same role is played by God, where he is protecting us, he is nurturing, he is feeding us, he is the husband, and we are the wives. It is said in that sense. He is our protector, he is the breadwinner, he is the one who supports us. He creates the environment in which we can thrive. The husband creates a protective environment in which the woman can raise the children. If he does not create that protective environment, she cannot raise the children. So the relationship between all souls and God is that. He is the husband, we are the wives. Now, it does not mean that there is any sexual activity between God and souls. That is a misreading of this concept. The correct reading of this concept is he is the dominant, we are the submissive members, he is the independent, we are the dependent. That is the correct reading. And we see, Hanuman, he exhibited that kind of behavior, that subservient behavior. He became a servant of God. He became a servant of Lord Rama. So Lord Rama is the Purusha, and Hanuman, the servant, is not even a servant. He behaved like a slave to Rama. That is how every soul, be it a man or a woman, that I told you, the man and woman, that's external gender, really it is not even worth considering. We should not even consider that as any major thing. You are a soul. In front of God, there is no male and female. There is only, he is God, you are soul. That's the only relationship. So Hanuman behaved with so much of humility, we cannot even imagine. The person who has all the Ashtasiddhis, all the Navanidhis, all miraculous powers, he behaves as if he is a slave to God Ram. That is the real nature the soul must exhibit. But the soul is not capable of doing that. So Hanuman showed that. Who is Hanuman? He is Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, looking at pathetic creatures like us, he got frustrated. He said, these fellows will never learn. I myself have to show them an example of how they should behave with God. So he became Hanuman. He became a slave of Rama. And he showed to us, look, you fellows, this is how you should behave. Can we behave like him? No, no way. Still, even after he demonstrating the most ideal example of how a devoted servant should be, we are not able to learn because our ego prevents us from doing that. Nevertheless, he understood and he demonstrated this Vedic statement. He behaved like a Stree and like a Sati towards Lord Rama. He was a male, so that not in a sexual way, but in the sense of treating Rama as the master God and treating himself to be a dependent servant, a slave, that he embodied. So you don't have to be a female in terms of gender. If you can realize this through knowledge, if you can realize this, then you are as good as a female. Of course, in the final birth, God may give you an actual female birth, so that the reduction of ego or the elimination of ego becomes effortless. It doesn't have to be with effort. And that, in fact, God is doing a favor. You should not fight with God. You know, raising some black flags and shouting slogans outside God's office saying, this is injustice, injustice, give us justice. You don't have to do all that. You should go to God's office and thank him. Thank you, my Lord. You have put forth this arrangement so that in the final birth I will become a female. This birth I'm a male, fine. Thank you so much. You made this arrangement so that my ego can be naturally eliminated. This is not a reason to fight with God. This is a reason to thank God. Next one. Strīrivāhantaya mukto satīva pati sevaya bhagavat sannidhau tishthet jiva ityeva sangraha. This means that even souls in male bodies shall give up ego and attain the nature of females. Even souls in male bodies are said to be the wives of God in the Veda. It means that males too shall serve God, just as wives used to serve their husbands in ancient times, without any ego, with full submissiveness and obedience. This is the essence of this Vedic statement. We have to really understand what this means. We live in a world where you are supposed to show off, where you are supposed to show that you are better than others. You are supposed to compete with others. And women are, in fact, in a position where they have to prove that they are better than males. They are smarter than males. They are more intelligent. They are more dynamic. They are more adventurous than men. There is so much pressure on women to do that. Unless they do that, they feel that they will be suppressed by society. And their feeling is not entirely wrong. That is how society deals with women. But while that is how society is, from a spiritual point of view, you have to do exactly the opposite. In society, there is a struggle to become more like men. Men have to be like men. They have to be aggressive, dominant, competitive. Women also are trying to do the same thing. They are trying to become more manly than men. That is where the rat race is going today in society. But in the spiritual world, it should be the opposite rat race. The opposite race is, not only should women try to be submissive and obedient and free of ego, but men also should be like that. So the race should be in the opposite way. How much can I be submissive? How much can I be obedient? How much can I be without ego? Then we are fulfilling that Vedic statement. Then we are becoming eligible to be devotees of God. The world is telling you to be aggressive and dominant and fighting and competing with others. But spirituality is telling you to go in the opposite direction. Every man should be more like a woman, and every woman should definitely be like a woman if they want the fruit of spirituality. If they are not interested in the fruit of spirituality, okay, no problem. Live in the world, run the rat race, and one day get eaten by a cat. That's what happens to rats. So interesting. Hanumanji showed us how, being a male, you can be a female before God. Bhaktir guno dushpravrittihi dosho jiva svabhavajaha ato narakamutsrujya golokam gamayamitam. In this sweet devotion, the merit is that their goal is devotion to God, even though physical lustful behavior is a bad quality related to dushpravritti. Hence, I cannot punish a sweet devotee simply based on her bad quality. This bad quality is a natural behavior born of the physical material body in which the souls exist. So I rectify the sweet devotee from the defect of lust and save her from going to hell. For her merit of devotion to God, I send the devotee to Goloka. So in the previous verse, we saw how we should behave with God. Now God is coming back to the main point, where the question of this path of sweet devotion, whereby female devotees turn their lust towards God and then gradually get uplifted. This is being discussed again. The sweet devotees, that is the female devotees having romantic devotion towards God, there is a defect in their devotion. What is that defect? That there is lustful behavior. There are lustful thoughts in the mind, and there is lustful external behavior also. So that may be a defect, fine. But you have to notice that the goal is God. Once that lustful behavior is directed towards God instead of towards some human lover, it becomes a matter of nivrutti. It becomes a matter related to the path to reach God. And because the goal is God, this devotee cannot be punished despite that defect of lustful behavior. So Swami says, hence I cannot punish the sweet devotee simply based on her bad quality, the bad quality of lustful behavior. Now, where does this bad quality or lustful behavior come from? This is a natural behavior. It is born of the physical material body in which the souls exist. That woman, she exists in a physical human body. Her soul exists in a physical human body. That physical human material body contains hormones which are driving that lustful behavior. That is what causes the lustful thoughts and the subsequent behavior. So it is not something to be punished. It is something that needs to be rectified. So he rectifies the sweet devotee from the defect of lust and saves her from going to hell. And as far as her merit is concerned, the merit of devotion, because she has tremendous devotion. So that as a result or as a fruit of that devotion, what does he do? He sends her to Goloka. For the lust, she should have gone to hell. For her devotion, she should go to the upper world. But that defect of lust can be rectified. So he rectifies it. Why send her to hell when it can be rectified? So he rectifies that. So she does not have to go to hell. And her devotion is already excellent. Once it is purified from that impurity of lust, she is eligible to go to Goloka. That is the policy followed by God. Taijasa vapurashritya dagdhadosha madangaga nivasishyati mayyeva shashvata brahma yogini. This defect of lust gets rectified very soon when the devotee remains in close association with the human incarnation of God. He learns the true personality of God and quickly realizes that he likes justice and celibacy. She realizes that he is not interested in her sexually. He is not interested in her physical beauty. He is not going to violate dharma because he is the founder of dharma. He is the maintainer of dharma. He is the one who has given all the rules of dharma, the rules of justice to mankind. How will he violate dharma? So, with this change in her thinking, that defect of lust easily gets rectified. When she realizes the truth, see, she is an ignorant person to begin with, initially, before she met God, and she had lustful thoughts. And she used to think that I am so beautiful, that young man who is walking down the street, he is looking at me, he is attracted to my beauty. I am so beautiful, people are attracted to my beauty. She is in that mentality where she thinks that her physical body is very attractive. With that misunderstanding, she directs her lustful thoughts towards God. She thinks that just as all other young men were attracted to her physically, this human incarnation, this Krishna, he is also going to be attracted to me because I am so beautiful. That is her misunderstanding. Initially, he tolerates that. He also behaves in that manner. He also behaves as if he is very impressed by her physical beauty. He is very attracted to her. He shows as if he is attracted initially, until she forms a bond with him. When she forms a bond with him, he shows her the reality. Not in a harsh or an unkind manner, not saying that you useless woman, you think you can attract the master of this universe? What are you? You are smaller than an insect for me. Not in such a way, because God is the most polite, the most emotionally sensitive person. In a very gentle manner, he informs her, he lets her know, he lets her realize that he is not interested in her physical beauty. He is not interested in anybody's physical beauty. There is nothing that can impress him. There's nothing that can attract him. There's nothing external that can give him bliss, because he is always in a state of 100% bliss. Such advanced spiritual concepts she will learn when she comes in association with him. And then a mental transformation happens in her. She was giving so much importance to her beauty, thinking that she is so attractive. I must dress up well. I must put on some makeup, and I must behave in a certain manner with some people from outside. Then, they feel attracted. Then I can get my things done. That mentality changes. It's a complete reformatting of her mentality. That happens. It takes some time. But if you look at the overall time scale where the soul has had an infinite number of births, if it takes a few decades or even a few janmas for that reformatting or that complete transformation of the person's mentality, it's a very short time. So if in a very short time, in the close association of the human incarnation of God, the devotee transforms. When she learns his greatness, learns about his greatness, his divine qualities, his just nature, being the founder of justice, the protector of justice, and so many other things. And that is where her salvation, the door to her salvation opens. When she first establishes herself in pravrutti, she gives up trying to attract him by her physical beauty. She gives that up. She realizes it's laughable that he, the master of the universe, is going to be attracted to this puny creature like me. She realizes how laughable it is. Then she keeps quiet. Then she doesn't try to attract him to her physical beauty. She remains content, satisfied in her pravrutti life. She may be married to some other man. She may still have some desires. That's okay. Let her legitimately satisfy those desires with her married husband. So once she remains satisfied with her legitimate married spouse, she has established herself in pravrutti, then the door for nivrutti opens. Until she gives up that lustful tendency, the door is not going to open. Because pravrutti is the eligibility, it is the basic eligibility for nivrutti. Being established and satisfied in leading a worldly life of justice is the prerequisite. Without that, the doors of nivrutti will not open. So then what happens? Finally, she has developed so much devotion towards God, and now she is not expecting any lustful interaction with him, but the devotion, the love for him is still there, and it's very strong. When she pursues that love for God, and due to that love for God, which is a non-sexual kind of love, non-romantic kind of love, when she intensifies that love, and as a result of that extreme love for God, when she is able to sacrifice her three worldly bonds, she has attained liberation. And for such a devotee who has attained liberation in this world, she attains her liberation continues in the upper world also. That is explained here. So when the sweet devotee leaves the gross body here in death and reaches Goloka in an energetic body, the defect automatically disappears, since the body there is energetic and not a material body. The hormones that induce sexual feelings are materialized substances, and they act only in a material body. In Goloka, these rectified sweet devotees who are liberated from both worldly bonds and worldly fascinations enter my energetic body with their energetic subtle bodies and live in me forever. Nivasishyasi mayyeva ata urdhvan asamshayah, as told in the Gita. So when they leave their body over here, when they go in the energetic body, in that energetic body, there are no hormones. There's no question of sexual activity. The hormones are what cause the sexual activity in the material body. The person who has become a Jivan Mukta actually, even while being in the body, has risen above the effect of hormones. But let us say at the physical level, the hormones still exist. They are not able to change his mind, but at the physical level, at least those hormones exist. When the body is dropped, the human body is dropped over here in death, and the person, that devotee, attains an energetic body and goes to the upper world, there's no question of any sexual behavior over there, no sexual activity over there. So what happens to them? Those souls, they go and live in him forever. What is meant by in him? They live very, very close to him, very close to him, so that it appears to us as if they have merged in him. It's not a total merging. They remain separate. You can say that they are so close to him that it almost appears as if they have merged in him. But they retain their separate identity. They do not become God. They just remain very closely associated. You may say that almost sticking to his energetic body, but not they don't become part of his energetic body. So this is told in the Gita as Nivasishyasi Mayyeva Ata Urvam Na Samshayah. And then what happens to them? God may periodically come down to earth. He descends on earth to uplift humanity again and again. So they also accompany him down. This is told over here. Bhulokasthaavatarasya mama karye maya saha sevate mama bandhastha mokshoyam veda bodhitaha. Whenever I descend to this earth as a human incarnation, the liberated souls staying in me accompany me to earth and assist me in my mission here. The souls serve me without getting trapped in worldly bonds or worldly fascinations here. This is the complete salvation preached by the Veda. In the Veda, it is told that these souls, the liberated ones, upon leaving their body in energetic form, they reach the upper world and they remain associated with him. That is said, Paranjoti Rupa Sampadya Svena Rupena Abhi Nishpadyata. This statement is from the Maitrayana Upanishad as well as the Chandogya Upanishad. In both these Upanishads, the same statement is to be found, and that describes this state of so-called merging with God in the upper world. The souls in their energetic bodies in the upper world, they go and merge with God, meaning they stay very closely associated with him. So I think at this point I will pause and hand over to Suryaji. Pada Namaskaram, Swamiji.
Namaste.
Namaskaram, Swami.
Namaste.
First, I will share the screen. I think now the screen is visible. Just is it visible? My screen is visible.
No, sir.
Oh, just 1 minute.
Sir, shall I share again?
Okay.
Suryaji, can I share and will you take charge?
Yes, yes, yes. Just 1 minute. Now it is visible, no?
Yes,
Full screen.
yes.
No?
Visible,
Yes.
full screen.
Okay. Namaskaram, Swami. So I will start from the in the last satsang we have covered the first 15 slides. We have covered the first 14. I will repeat the 14th once again. Ta uddhartum mai premnaha naskhalat brahmacharini aham karishyami na bhango danda sarpayo. Meaning by Swami, since such lustful devotees possess love towards me, I want to uplift even such bad souls, since they are directed towards me alone. At the same time, I am praised as the perfect celibate. In this conflict, I make an arrangement such as the one made in this rasa dance. On the one side, I satisfy them with the souls possessing my form, which are divinely created by me. On the other side, I protect my celibacy perfectly. My action in this context reminds us of a popular saying that neither the stick is broken nor is the serpent killed. Next verse. Namesti kama sankalpaha sa sada kevalam tvayi asprusan uddharishyami manasa karmana gira. Meaning by Swami, I don't have any romantic feelings for the lustful devoted souls in this arrangement. My romantic feelings are always for you alone, because you are my own form. This is being told to Radha Mata by Lord Krishna. My romantic feelings are always for you alone, because you are my own form. You too are the possessor of an infinite ocean of bliss like me. I uplift these lustful devotees also, but without touching them through my thoughts, words, or deeds. Next verse. Shri Radha Devi Uvacha Pruchhami Tvam Punah Prasnam Tameva Muralidhara Kuto na Stri Sama Bhaktaha Umamso Dushpravruttayaha. Meaning by Swami, Shri Radha Devi spoke, O singer on flute, I am raising the same old question once again here. My question is, why are the male devotees having the same bad quality of lust belonging to the category of dushpravritti, not being blessed by you on par with the female devotees. So Shri Krishna Bhagavan Uvacha Shri Pumsor Bheda Ekoyam Tamah Pumsam Rajoyutam Srina Mekam Tamah Prayaha Siddhanto Bahujivakaha. Meaning by Swami, God Sri Krishna spoke. The main difference between male and female souls is that in the case of males, the lust indicated by the quality of tamas is always associated with ego, which is indicated by the quality of rajas. In female souls, only the tamas exists and not the rajas, which means that females may have lust, but not the masculine ego. Of course, there may be very few exceptions to this concept, but this policy is always based on the majority of souls neglecting the minor exceptions. So the same is shown in the pictorial view here, like males and females. Males have both tamas, males and females both have tamas based lust. Whereas in the case of males, you see the red one, that is the rajas based ego. So males have both tamas based lust and rajas based ego, while females have only tamas based lust. Next verse. Yavat purusha dehosti tavad dhatte rajah puman ato mokshat puro vasyam stri janma rajasachyutam. Meaning by Swami, as long as the male body exists, the male soul possesses the masculine ego, which is the result of the quality of rajas. Therefore, the soul present in a male body in the current birth must necessarily be reborn with a female body, which is naturally devoid of the male ego due to the absence of the quality of rajas, at least in a major quantity. Even if rajas exists in females, it is usually only in a minor quantity. And the next one, Vina Kama Gunam Chayam Sri Janma Niyatam Vrajet Mokshaya Tadihaivasya Tamonasyatu Chaikada. Meaning by Swami, therefore, the male soul must attain the female birth to destroy his ego, which is born of rajas, irrespective of the possession of lust, which is born of tamas. When there is such a strict condition, let the lust born of tamas and the ego born of rajas be destroyed in that last female birth itself in one shot. And next verse. Yukapad dvaya samsiddhau mandopi na prathak charet jeva sarve bhavantyeva striyas charama janmasu. Meaning by Swami, when the two fruits of overcoming lust and ego are attainable simultaneously, even a fool will not try to make separate efforts to attain the two fruits independently. Therefore, all souls are simply given female bodies in their last births. If they are not able to achieve salvation in one final female birth, they are given a few female births to attain the necessary spiritual maturity in that last stage of their spiritual journey. So if you can see the pictorial form on the right side, so one final female birth, or if the spiritual efforts are not complete, then even may be given multiple female births also. But all those are all final female births only, before the final salvation. Or 21st verse. Anyayo na krutah pumsam kriyaika dvayarthakaryatah palane hidrusam karma solabhyaya prakirtitam. Meaning by Swami, therefore no injustice is done to males. There is no partial favor done to females compared to males. This policy of granting the final female birth to souls achieves two positive results in one stroke. In any administrative work, such policies are to be praised because they greatly simplify the implementation. The next verse. Sarve jivastriya iti vede proktam sati pade etat gunaparam grahyam na sarira ratadishu. Meaning by Swami, in the Veda, it is told that all souls are females and also the wives of God. Striya sati tan ume pumsa ahu. From Rigveda 1.164.16. This statement should not be taken in the sense of the sexual activity that takes place between a man and his wife. It is to be taken in the sense of the behavior of souls in the presence of God. Next verse. Śrī Rivahantaya mukto sativa pati sevaya bhagavat sannidhau tishtet jeva ityeva sangraha. Meaning by Swami, this means that even souls in male bodies shall give up ego and attain the nature of females. Even souls in male bodies are said to be the wives of God in the Veda. It means that males too shall serve God just as wives used to serve their husband in the ancient times without any ego, with full submissiveness and obedience. This is the essence of this Vedic statement. Next verse. Bhaktir guno dushpravrittihi dosho jiva swabhavajaha ato narakamutsrujya golokam gamayamitam. Meaning by Swami. In this sweet devotion, the merit is that their goal is devotion to God, even though physical, lustful behavior is a bad quality related to dushpravritti. Hence, I cannot punish a sweet devotee simply based on her bad quality. This bad quality is a natural behavior born of the physical, that is material body in which the souls exist. So I rectify the sweet devotee from the defect of lust and save her from going to hell. For her merit of devotion to God, I send the devotee to Goloka. Next verse. Taijasam vapurasritya dagdhadosha madangaga nivasishyati mayyeva saswata brahma yogini. Meaning by Swami, this defect of lust gets rectified very soon when the devotee remains in close association with human incarnation of God. She learns the true personality of God and quickly realizes that he likes justice and celibacy. When the sweet devotee leaves the grass body here and reaches Goloka in an energetic body, the defect automatically disappears since the body there is energetic and not a material body. The hormones that induce sexual feelings are materialized substances and they act only in a material body. In Goloka, these rectified sweet devotees who are liberated from both worldly bonds and worldly fascinations enter my energetic body with their subtle energetic bodies and live in me forever. Nivasishyasi mayyeva atu urdhvam na samsayaha. Gita. Oh, next verse. Bhulokaavatarasya mama karye maya saha sevate ma abandhastha mokshoyam veda bodhitaha. Meaning by Swami, whenever I descend to this earth as a human incarnation, the liberated souls staying in me accompany me to earth and assist me in my mission here. The souls serve me without getting trapped in worldly bonds or worldly fascinations here. This is the complete. This is the complete salvation preached by the Veda. Param Jyoti Rupa Sampadya Svena Rupenabhi Nishpadyata. Veda Maitrayana Upanishad. So with this, we will stop this Radha Krishna Gita, and we will see some question answers. I'll try to share my screen. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Probably the screen is visible now.
Yes, visible.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So we were going through the set of question answers on November 2nd. We have covered the first 4 questions. So we will start from the 5th question. These are all a set of questions by Shri Hrishikesh. His question is: don't you think that don't you think the descriptions in Gita Govindam, etc., are symbolic, referring to creative powers rather than literal anatomy? His detailed question is: in one of your answers to a question about the Vishnu Sahasranamam and the Lalita Sahasranamam, you said the following. This couple of lines are taken from Swami's message. Males are not supposed to recite the Lalita Sahasranama Stotram because the beauty of the body of the Divine Mother is frequently described in it, and a son should not recite the prayer describing the physical beauty of his mother. So, for complete discourse, he has given the link also. Now, based on this question on the above, based on that above concept, that excerpt from the Swami, texts like the Gita Govinda by Jayadeva, the Kama Sutra, and other Tantric and Puranic traditions describe private parts of gods. Don't you think these descriptions are often symbolic and metaphorical, referring to creative or generative powers rather than literal anatomy as seen in the Lalita Sahasranama's references to the Divine Mother's creative essence? While the Lalita Sahasranama focuses on the spiritual aspects of the Divine Mother, other texts explore sensuality and the divine through more explicitly embodied or erotic imagery. Also, when God is not the biological father, he is not the real father. How can the goddess become the biological mother when God and goddess are one unimaginable God? Similarly, when the goddess is not the biological mother, she is not the real mother. Then why shouldn't men recite the prayers Lalita Sahasranama Stotram and Saundarya Lahari Stotram, which describe the physical beauty of the goddess? Now Swami replied, in the Gita Govindam, the romance between Radha and Krishna is described. In Lalita Sahasranama prayer, the description of the beauty of the Divine Mother is also given. Such a description can be taken as the creative power of the Divine Mother, as told by you, by the female devotees. But when the case of male devotees comes, there is high possibility of distraction of mind to wrong side. There are only very few male devotees who can also take such a description like female devotees. Śrī Ramakrishna Paramahamsa prayed the private part of a beautiful naked lady sent to test him as the source of creation by treating her as the Divine Mother. But every human soul is not of the standard of Sri Paramahamsa. Even the Vatsyayana Kama Sutra describes the union modes of a couple. Reading the description of the divine beauty of the Divine Mother is not good for male devotees who are not in the highest spiritual level of Sri Paramahamsa. Any trace of deviation of the mind of the devotee will destroy him completely. Some demons who expressed such thoughts to the Divine Mother were violently smashed by the Divine Mother. Parabrahman is unimaginable God, and in his case, the modification, that is the parinama, cannot be logically established. Mahamaya, or the Divine Mother, is the unimaginable power of God, and she is also called as Karana Maya Shakti. This world is the product of the modification of the inert energy called as Karya Maya Shakti. Even though the process of generation of inert energy from the unimaginable power is also unimaginable. Scholars like to call the unimaginable power or Mahamaya as the cause of inert energy instead of calling the unimaginable substratum or Parabrahman as the cause. Parabrahman and Mahamaya can be treated as a possessor of power and power, and both cannot be separated from each other since both are unimaginable items. We cannot say both as one or two when both are in the unimaginable state. The inability to isolate both can also result in the oneism of both. Excellent. Neither God nor God's power is a biological parent, but the indirect modification of the divine power or direct modification of inert energy can be assumed as the mother giving birth to child, which is the modification of her flesh. It is an assumption based on modification. The divine power, Maya, is called as the root cause of the creation. Mayantu Prakritam Vidhi, Gita. The word Prakriti means root cause. Our ancestral tradition is to treat the power of God as Divine Mother. Once such a tradition is established, it will be highly unethical to think otherwise. This tradition has logical basis that the unimaginable power only can produce inert energy. And since the world is modification of inert energy, the world can also be treated as a modification of the unimaginable power indirectly. This modification brings the similarity with the flesh and blood of mother being modified as the body of the baby in the womb. Regarding unimaginable God, there is no possibility for the assumption of such a modification except that the will of Parabrahman is the basis for such modification. Oh, excellent. Such will cannot be assumed as the sperm of the father. Hence, the unimaginable God is untouched by all these assumptions of a biological parent. Mahamaya, the Divine Mother, does not like sweet devotion with souls, and she has killed several demons who approached her in that angle. Even Parabrahman, the unimaginable God, being assumed father, because he happens to be the husband of Mahamaya, is also not participating directly in the sweet devotion except making some arrangement through his illusory forms and protecting his celibacy perfectly. This means that even Parabrahman does not like this sweet devotion personally with souls except with the Divine Mother or Mahamaya. God arranges his illusory forms to help the lustful female devotees of dushpravritti to divert their fascination towards God and makes them reach God shortly in course of time. This type of arrangement need not be done by the Divine Mother also for the sake of lustful male devotees to divert their mind to God, because almost every male soul has to enter the final female birth so that their masculine ego spontaneously disappears in female body. Hence, the final birth program is arranged by God only, and there is no loss to male devotees. And his next question is, are tantric sadhanas real? Is there a tantric practice called Apsara sadhana? His detailed question is, are tantric sadhanas real? Is there a tantric process, tantric practice called Apsara sadhana, or is it a man-made concept? Is it true that the heavenly dancers actually appear before the sadhaka who performs such sadhana and grant him pleasure? If this is possible, then men could satisfy their desires through this process, which would be much safer and more economical than visiting brothels. Moreover, such experiences might even establish the concept of unimaginable miracles. Kindly clarify. Swami replied, are there no other types of miracles to prove the existence of unimaginable God as the source of miracles? Tantra means technique. The only technique for catching God is the pure, desireless, theoretical devotion based on true spiritual knowledge that is proved by practical service and sacrifice. If you get heavenly dancers like this without spending money, how can the prostitutes make up their livelihood? Administration involves politics, and a political administrator is very much worried about the employment of downtrodden people. Next question by him. Are the practices like Uchishta Ganapati, Prachangira, etc. really effective? His detailed question is, there are many other tantric sadhanas such as Shmashana Aghora Ganapati sadhana, Uchishta Ganapati, Prachangira, and many more. Are these practices really effective? Can a person simply chant these mantras and experience their power by following a manual from the internet, or is it necessary to receive initiation from a human guru? Will these mantras work without proper guidance? Swami replied, all these worships will lead the soul to horrible hells headed by Sri Kalabhairava. All these practices are related to dushpravritti, which is the lowest level of devilish human beings. It's almost 8 o'clock here, so I will stop here. Namaskaram, Swami.
Namaste.
Pada Namaskaram Swami.
Namaste.
We shall start the Bhakti.
ऋषिवराणां मानसालोलहंसाय मकुटान्तमायूरपिञ्छावतंसाय एकप्रहारेण विध्वस्तकंसाय श्रीवेणुगोपालकृष्णाय वन्दनम् व्यत्यस्तविन्यस्तपादारविन्दाय मधुरामृतासार मुरलीनिनादाय जाज्वल्यमानांशु पीताम्बराङ्गाय श्रीवेणुगोपालकृष्णाय वन्दनम् आमुक्तमुक्तावळीजालहाराय गोपीदधिक्षीरनवनीतचोराय बृन्दावने वल्लवी वृन्दजाराय श्रीवेणुगोपाल कृष्णाय वन्दनम् आकर्णतेजस्वि मीनाय ताक्षाय प्रच्यूषपद्मांशु नेत्रच्छदयुगाय कमललोचनकान्तिसम्मोहनास्त्राय श्रीवेणुगोपालकृष्णाय वन्दनम् सायन्तने धेनुबृन्दानुगमनाय मार्गमध्ये वल्लवी कुञ्चिताक्षाय राधा जगन्मोहिनी मोहनाय श्रीवेणुगोपालकृष्णाय वन्दनम् कालीयफणिफणा संक्षोभनटनाय काञ्चीक्वणत्किङ्किणी निस्पनाय गोवर्धनोद्धरणलीलास्मितास्याय श्रीवेणुगोपालकृष्णाय वन्दनम् कस्तूरिकातिलकरेखा ललाटाय तुलसीस्रगामोद वक्षःकवाटाय पार्थाय विश्वरूपालोलखेटाय श्रीवेणुगोपालकृष्णाय वन्दनम् श्रीरुक्मिणी सत्यभामा समेताय गोपीसहस्रेण संवेष्टिताङ्गाय रासे रसे सर्वदा सद्विनोदाय श्रीवेणुगोपालकृष्णाय वन्दनम् श्रीवेणुगोपालकृष्णाय वन्दनम् श्रीवेणुगोपालकृष्णाय वन्दनम् दत्त भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, दत्त नाम बिना आनंद नहीं, दत्त वेद बिना सद्ग्रंथ नहीं, दत्त गीत बिना सद्बोध नहीं, दत्त रूप बिना सौंदर्य नहीं, दत्त योग बिना अद्वैत नहीं, दत्त दृष्टि बिना सत्प्रेम नहीं, दत्त सेवा बिना सत्कर्म नहीं, दत्त वाक्य बिना प्रज्ञान नहीं, दत्त गान बिना संगीत नहीं, दत्त संग बिना सत्संग नहीं, श्री दत्त बिना कोई अपना नहीं, गुरु दत्त बिना भगवान नहीं, प्रभु दत्त बिना परमात्मा नहीं, दत्त भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, दत्त नाम बिना आनंद नहीं।
I tell you, if I say that I am not the Lord, you will say that I am the Lord. If I say that I am the Lord, you will say that I am not the Lord. If I don't love, I am a stone for you. If I love you, you tell me to go. If you like me to be with me always, you have to cut all the bonds. impossible. O Partha, this is impossible, impossible. O Partha, this is impossible. How should I tell you, O Partha? How should I tell you? How should I tell you, O Partha? How should I tell you? I came to uplift the justice. I sing this Gita to teach you. Love with service is the only way. Be with me with lovely service. To love and serve human form is best. Narayana came down as a Krishna. Human form can only preach. To know human form is divine knowledge. Divine knowledge, O Partha, this is a divine knowledge. Divine knowledge, O Partha, this is a divine knowledge. How should I tell you, O Partha, how should I tell you? Two obstacle walls oppose you here. Egoism and jealousy are the walls. Human body repels human body. Therefore you reject my human form. Realize you are not the human body. You are the soul, that is the pure awareness. Why do you hate the human body when you are not the human body? Love me, O Partha, love my human form. Love me, O Partha, love my human form. How should I tell you, O Partha, how should I tell you? How should I tell you, O Partha, how should I tell you? I am Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva. Serve me in this human form only. Soul need not hate the human body. At least love all the human beings. In any way love the human beings, so that you love me in human form. Before you love and serve me finally, you love and serve the humanity. Practice, O Partha, it is practice. Practice, O Partha, it is practice. How should I tell you, O Partha? How should I tell you? How should I tell you, O Partha? How should I tell you? Divine knowledge means detecting me, loving me, and then serving me always. Entire creation is my will only. The human body is also my will. God pervaded all my human body. God himself is teaching you. Don't claim that you are the Lord just by becoming the self. Demonism, O Partha, this is demonism. Demonism, O Partha, this is demonism. How should I tell you, O Partha? How should I tell you? How should I tell you, O Partha? How should I tell you? Sacrifice of work and fruit of work, both are the service like the plate of meals. Oral singing and love with the mind to be given like the drinking water. Don't give only water to Lord and charge him for giving the water. But meals must be with drinking water. Don't aspire for payment from Lord. He will bless you, O Partha, He will bless you always. He will bless you, O Partha. He will always bless you. How should I tell you, O Partha? How should I tell you? How should I tell you, O Partha? How should I tell you? You think of me as a human body, since you are also the human body. I am the hot water, water with heat. You are the cold water, water without heat. Don't propagate that I am the Lord. Others may not digest that truth. They will mock you and drag you down to their level to be equal with you. Human tendency, O Partha, this is human tendency. Human tendency, O Partha, this is human tendency. How should I tell you, O Partha? How should I tell you? How should I tell you, O Partha? How should I tell you?
अत्रिप्रिया पुत्रमाश्रये अत्रिप्रिया पुत्रमाश्रये दत्तं भार्गवप्रणतचरणं ज्ञानाभरणं मायावरणं भक्तोद्धरणं त्रिगुणकरणं निजानुचरवरकोटित्रय सुरकरसेवामोदभरम् अमेयशमदमसमत्वमतिगति विमुक्तकरवरदम् अत्रिप्रिया पुत्रमाश्रये दत्तं भार्गवप्रणतचरणम् अत्रिपुत्रा दत्तदेवा श्रुतिपवित्रा सच्चरित्रा केळिचित्रा पुत्रमत्रा त्राहि मां शतपत्रनेत्रा अज्ञानतिमिरभेदपद्ममित्रा प्रज्ञानचिदनघा सत्कळत्र विज्ञानरूढतत्त्वसुधापात्र सुज्ञानि मानवार्धधृत मानवगात्र अत्रिपुत्र दत्तदेव श्रुतिपवित्र सच्चरित्र केळिचित्र पुत्रमात्र त्राहि मां शतपत्रनेत्र भैरवायते कालभैरवायते प्रदक्षिणानि मे देवमूढभक्तस्य काशिकापुरी क्षेत्रलोकपालनं पिङ्गळेक्षण स्फुरणमात्रमेव ते भुवनभाण्डक प्रलयभस्मकारको गर्जनोद्धत ध्वनिकणस्तव प्रभो भैरवायते कालभैरवायते प्रदक्षिणानि मे देवमूढभक्तस्य अष्टसिद्धयोऽप्यष्टभूतिभिः सह भूतनाथते करुणलेशसम्भवाः सारमेयवत् त्वयि समर्पितार्थिनां बोधयत्युहो शुनकवाहनं तव भैरवायते कालभैरवायते प्रदक्षिणानि मे देवमूढभक्तस्य अरुणवाससं भैक्षभस्त्रिकाभुजं साग्निपात्रकं पृथुलमार्जनीधरं श्मश्रुभीकरं कालदण्डमण्डितं कालिकापतिं कालकालमाश्रये भैरवायते कालभैरवायते प्रदक्षिणानि मे देवमूढभक्तस्य भैरवायते कालभैरवायते प्रदक्षिणानि मे देवमूढभक्तस्य भैरवायते कालभैरवायते प्रदक्षिणानि मे देवमूढभक्तस्य
भज भज रे भगवन्तं हरिहरपुत्र मनन्तं
भज भज रे भगवन्तं हरिहरपुत्र मनन्तं
मणिकण्ठहारं केरलकुमारं शार्दूलवाहं वर्जितविवाहं शबरीगिरीशं महिषीविनाशं शास्तारमेवं ध्यायामि देवं
भज भज रे भगवन्तं हरिहरपुत्र मनन्तं
शिवविष्णुतेज संयोगभाजं संसारपारं श्रुतिवाक्यसारं सोपानमाला मधिरुह्य लीला संकल्पलोकं कलयन्तमेकम्
भज भज रे भगवन्तं हरिहरपुत्र मनन्तम्
एकैकवीरं सौन्दर्यमारं योगीन्द्रधीरं हृतभूमिभारं पम्पाविहारं हृदयैकचोरं दत्तावतारं मुनिचित्तचारम्
भज भज रे भगवन्तं हरिहरपुत्र मनन्तम्
आलीढकान्तं निःश्रेणिकान्तं वेदान्तशान्तं चिन्मुद्रयान्तम् अनाद्यनन्तं मकरांशुमन्तं ज्योतिस्फुरन्तं शिखिवज्ज्वलन्तम्
भज भज रे भगवन्तं हरिहरपुत्र मनन्तम्
भज
भज रे भगवन्तं हरिहरपुत्र मनन्तम्
भजरे वीणापाणिं भजरे वीणापाणिं
भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं
भजरे वीणापाणिं वाणीमलिकुलवेणीं येणीक्षणसुमबाणां शोणाधरकरकोणाम्
भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं
कमलासनघनकामां विधिरामामभिरामां शमदमसुगुणस्तोमां घुमघुमसौरभभामाम्
भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं
शरदमलामजलोलां सत्कविकुलनिजबालां गलकलितकमलमालां सुविलसिततिलकफालाम्
भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं
हंसयानचलदांसां हंसवाहनोत्तांसां हंसीञ्जुगजितहंसां हंसककलपिकहिंसाम्
भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं
गज्जपज्जरसविद्यां मज्जहृज्यमधुवाज्याम् आज्यामुज्जत्सज्जो विद्युज्जुतिमनवज्याम्
भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं
क्वणितकच्छपिं हस्ते न्यस्तसुपुस्तकमालां प्रशस्तमस्ताभ्यस्तां स्तुतिभिस्तथा मनस्ताम्
भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं
सङ्गीतमङ्गलाङ्गीं शृङ्गारशृङ्गरङ्गां भृङ्गालकनवभङ्गीं ब्रह्मसङ्गरसगङ्गाम्
भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं
इन्दीवरचन्दनरुचि कुन्देन्दुमन्दहासाम् आनन्दमरन्दाब्धिम् इन्दिरास्नुषं वन्दे
भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं
भज रे वीणापाणिं वाणीमलिकुलवेणीं येणीक्षणसुमबाणां शोणाधरकरकोणाम्
भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं भज रे वीणापाणिं
दत्तमायां को नु तरति न चेत् दत्तमेवानुसरति वासवादव एव तत्र गलिताः ब्रह्मर्षयोऽपि तत्पादपतिताः नाभिजानत एव तं नरतनुं नरा वेदशास्त्रमहाविदोऽपि दत्तमायां को नुतरति न चेत् दत्तमेवानुसरति वासवादय एव तत्र गलिताः ब्रह्मर्षयोऽपि तत्पादपतिताः नाभिजानत एव तं नरतनुं नरा वेदशास्त्रमहाविदोऽपि दत्तमायां को नुतरति न चेत् दत्तमेवानुसरति दत्तमायां को नुतरति न चेत् दत्तमेवानुसरति दत्तमायां को नुतरति दत्तमायां को नुतरति दत्तमायां को नुतरति
वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 पाहि माम् वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 रक्ष माम् ऊर्ध्वपुण्ड्रविलक्षणाङ्कित हालदेशसमुज्ज्वलम् सप्तशैलविभूषणं नव नीलमेघसमप्रभम् वामपार्श्वविलम्बिमौक्तिक दामचारुकिरीटिनम् वेङ्कटेश्वरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै कलिः हंसयोरुपरि स्फुरद्युतिशङ्खचक्रसुलक्षितम् चक्रवाकसमाकृति स्फुटकर्णभूषणशोभितम् स्वर्णवर्णधगद्युति नूतनाम्बरविभ्रमम् वेङ्कटेश्वरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै कलिः चित्रपुष्पसरोल्लसत्तुलसीदलात्मकमालिकम् वज्रमौक्तिकदामसंवृत चित्रचित्रविभूषणम् शोणपद्मविशेषहार परिष्कृतामलकन्धरम् वेङ्कटेश्वरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै कलिः च्यूतपल्लवकोमलाधरनर्तितस्मितसुन्दरम् चन्दनाङ्कसमुल्लसच्चुबुकान्तकान्तिविलक्षणम् उल्लसत्तिलपुष्पसंमित चारुनासमनोहरम् वेङ्कटेश्वरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै कलिः धौतदीधितिमीनयुग्मकलालसत्तललोचनम् कामचापयुगभ्रुवोरति सुन्दराकृतिभासुरम् वामपाणिविलोलसौरभ वर्षिकोमलवारिजम् वेङ्कटेश्वरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै कलिः दक्षिणादिगुणालयं शुभ सर्वसद्गुणसागरम् पापकूपनिमग्नजीव समुद्धरं धरणीधवम् अङ्गुलीयकवज्रदीधिति पाणिनाभयदायकम् वेङ्कटेश्वरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै कलिः उज्ज्वलाङ्गसुदर्शनाभिधचक्रखण्डितराक्षसम् सर्वमङ्गलदेवतारमयालसद्गुरुवक्षसम् शङ्खचक्रगदासिषाङ्ग समाख्य पञ्चसमायुधम् वेङ्कटेश्वरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै कलिः यः पठेदिदमद्भुतं स्तवमुत्तमोत्तममागमम् सर्वकष्टविमुक्तिमेति सकृत्सुखं लभते नरः क्षीरसागरशायिनं परमाप्नुयात् परपूरुषम् वेङ्कटेश्वरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै कलिः वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 पाहि मां वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 रक्ष मां वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 पाहि मां वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 रक्ष मां वेङ्कटेश्वर पाहि मां वेङ्कटेश्वर रक्ष माम् धरती पर भक्तों के तुम हो उद्धारक भक्तों के कष्टों के तुम हो निवारक जीवों के भरता तुम ही हो मेरे पालक जगत गण हूँ मैं और तुम जग संचालक
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
सृष्टि स्थिति लयकारी तुम दत्ता अवतारी तुम्हारी लीला स्वामी जग से है न्यारी काषाय वस्त्रों में दत्त त्रिपुरारी तुम्हारी महिमा गाए हम सब नर नारी
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
त्रिगुणों के मालिक कर त्रिगुणों को धारण स्वयं ही सिखाए ज्ञान भक्ति समर्पण तेरे रमणार्थ सदा यत्न निरंतर तुम्हारी सेवा में ही मैं रहूं सदा तत्पर
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
वेदों के कर्ता तुम ही वेदों के रक्षक तुमसे ही वेदों का अस्तित्व अब तक वेदों के वचन हो तुम में ही सार्थक तुम बिन स्वामी है ये जीवन निरर्थक
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
प्रज्ञान स्वामी का है मोक्षकारी नष्ट करे सारे अवगुण हमारे जितनी भी चाहे हो इच्छा हमारी फिर भी न छोड़ा हमें बेसहारे
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
अहं में डूबे हम मनुष्य सारे करते तिरस्कार प्रभु का हमारे प्रेम से प्रभु सहते आरोप सारे फिर भी हमें स्वामी गले लगावे
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
अहं सोया बिन दत्ता को ध्यावे पत्री अनसोया वही मानव होवे अंत समय में जो दत्ता पुकारे पुत्र समान दत्ता दौड़े आवे
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
छोड़े छूटे ना जो बंधन संसारी बंधन छूटे जो पकड़े प्रीत तुम्हारी चाहू ना धन वैभव ना मुक्ति ही प्यारी तुम्हारी भक्ति स्वामी संपत्ति हमारी
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
यथाशक्ति यथ भक्ति चरण आरंभे कर्म संन्यास कर प्रेम निर्धारे कर्म फल त्याग कर भक्ति प्रमाणित दोनों करे सो कर्मयोगी हो साबित
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्ति अवतारी साक्षात परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
अमृत वचन स्वामी का नहीं
गुरुदत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्त्यवतारी साक्षात् परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
तुम रहो दाता सदा मैं रहूं सदा याचक तुम रहो सदा मालिक और मैं रहूं सदा सेवक काहू को डरना जब तुम हो मेरे रक्षक तुम्हारी सेवा में ही जीवन मेरा सार्थक
गुरुदत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्त्यवतारी साक्षात् परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
मनमोहक अति सुंदर अत्यंत प्यारी आनंदाई स्वामी छवि तुम्हारी दर्शन मात्रे तृप्त आत्मा हमारी दृष्टि स्वामी की है चमत्कारी
गुरुदत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्त्यवतारी साक्षात् परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
परिपूर्णतम साक्षात् परब्रह्म स्वामी वेदों से परिवेद सार है स्वामी अनूह्य अवतारी अचिंत्य स्वामी मनुष्य अवतारी परब्रह्म स्वामी
गुरुदत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता त्रिमूर्त्यवतारी साक्षात् परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी
कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रिये वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् भक्त्यानन्या श्रीदत्तस्वामिने समर्पयामि श्रीदत्तस्वामिने समर्पयामि श्रीदत्तस्वामिने समर्पयामि
परब्रह्म समारंभां श्री दत्तात्रेयमध्यमां श्री दत्त स्वामी पर्यन्तां वंदे गुरु परंपरां सर्वविश्वन्यस्तपादपद्मायते वामहस्तालोल वेदशास्त्रायते ज्ञानसूर्यायते दत्तरूपायते श्रीवेणुगोपाल कृष्णाय वंदनम श्रीवेणुगोपाल कृष्णाय वंदनम श्रीवेणुगोपाल कृष्णाय वंदनम गुरुदत्त श्रीदत्त प्रभुदत्त पाहि मां विधिदत्त हरिदत्त हरदत्त रक्ष मां पाहि मां दत्त रक्ष मां दत्त स्वामी नमस्कारं स्वामी
నమస్కారం స్వామి
మీ నమస్కారం స్వామీజీ
పాద నమస్కారం స్వామి
नमस्ते
पाद नमस्कारं स्वामीजी
నమస్కారం స్వామి
नमस्ते
पाद नमस्कारं
नमस्कारं स्वामी
नमस्ते
पाद नमस्कारं स्वामीजी
नमस्ते
నమస్కారం స్వామి
नमस्ते नमस्ते
పాద నమస్కారం స్వామీజీ
నమస్కారం స్వామి
पाद नमस्कारं स्वामी
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
పాద నమస్కారం స్వామి
नमस्ते
పాద నమస్కారం స్వామి
नमस्कार
స్వామి
స్వామి నమస్కారం
नमस्ते
నమస్కారం స్వామి
नमस्ते
पाद नमस्कारं स्वामी
नमस्ते
नमस्कारं स्वामी
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
पाद नमस्कारं स्वामी
नमस्ते
నమస్కారం స్వామీజీ
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
పాద నమస్కారం స్వామి
नमस्ते नमस्ते
पाद नमस्कारं स्वामी
नमस्ते नमस्ते
पाद नमस्कारं स्वामी
नमस्ते
Is there anyone left
पाद
to
नमस्कारं
offer pranams to Swami?
नमस्ते
పాద నమస్కారం స్వామీజీ
नमस्ते
उद्वेगरहिता संतोषरहिता शांति समुद्रा श्री दत्ता शांति समुद्रा श्री दत्ता शांति समुद्रा श्री दत्ता ओम शांति शांति शांति।